fistful yan when it comes to amount and kapag hindi naman sobra-sobra yung kinakain. When it comes to net carbs, pwede with peanuts sa low carb. However, hindi lang yung carbohydrate content yung ating iisipin. We also have other things to consider. That is why peanuts, if you are familiar with our GGC global food list, makikita ninyo that peanuts are in our caution list. And the other four considerations are actually the reasons why nasa caution list sila. So again, the first consideration would be the carbohydrate content, and it is still in caution list because you can consume it. Oh, kanina ang audio. Okay, I will try to improve. Makakailangan na natin, no? So, thank you. Wala pong audio. Until now, you will see. Okay na po ba? Sige, before we continue. Poor audio. Sige, I'll try to remove this one. Try natin to change natin. This time po, maraming salamat for being alert. Ralph, Eloco. Mahina pa rin. Eloco, Pinoy. Etanaj, Jessa Murit, thank you so much, subscriber. PTSD, Survivor, maraming salamat. I hope our audio is better. Okay na ba? Better, Alanita. Maraming salamat, Alanita. So, can we continue? So, 5 considerations when it comes to peanut consumption sa ating low-carb way of eating. Ano ito? So, yung 5 considerations ngayon, number 1 would be your carbohydrate intake. So, yung peanuts would be 8 grams, 7 to 8 grams per 100 grams. So, 100 grams, kung i-imagine niyo tatlong fistful of peanuts, equivalent to around 100 grams. Yun. Ang something lang sa peanuts, kasi kapag mahilig ka kumain ng nuts, ang dali-dali mo itong ma-overeat. Kasi nga, unmindful eating, papak ka lang ng papak. And you can easily overconsume it. Also, when you eat peanuts, since we are talking about the carbohydrate content, it's net carbs, yung part ng carbohydrate na nagkakaroon ng blood impact sa ating blood sugar, you also consider kung ano yung mga kinakain ninyo together with the peanuts in that day. Kasi, if you are not mindful, baka nag-over na kayo sa ating carbohydrate limit. So, that's why peanut is in our caution list because pwede siyang mapasok sa low carb. Maybe if you are just eating like 1 handful a day, pwede. And you are mindful sa kung anong ibang pagkain na kinakain nyo kasama ng peanuts on that day. And going on to our second reason why peanuts are in our caution list is hindi lang actually sa carbohydrate. Yung carbohydrate actually na content ng peanuts is somewhat mas madali pa siyang i-consider na ipasok sa ating low-carb lifestyle. But the other 4 reasons would be the ones that you should consider seriously. Because if you have familial tendency nagkaroon ng gout, merong hyperuricemia, kidney stones, peanut can have increased uric acid na tendencies. So, pwede siyang magkaroon ng pagtaas ng uric acid on an abnormal level because it is high in purine kapag kinain natin ito. That's why sa mga sensitive to increases in uric acid, makikita ninyo that when you eat peanuts, you will have joint pains, you will have yung iba nagkakaroon ng inflammation, nananakit yung kanilang mga kamay, yung kanilang tuhod, and it's because of elevated uric acid. So, that's the second thing that you can consider. Next is the fat content ng peanuts. The oil in the peanut is natural, pero it is mostly high in omega-6. And omega-6 can be inflammatory when taken in excess. At yung excess na yan, madali natin yan na reach na limit, yung parang toxic level na limit because yung kailangan natin omega-6 sa ating katawan is just very minimal. Only about 15 grams a day. So that's just about a tablespoon worth of omega-6 and it's embedded sa ating mga pagkain even in our safe na mga oil like the fats coming from pork. Meron pa rin yung omega-6 from chicken skin, although it's natural oil, but if we overconsume it, it can still be inflammatory. And peanuts is high in omega-6. That's why you should also limit your peanut consumption, not just because of low carb, but because not just because of the carbohydrate content, rather, but also of the oil that is in it, and that is the omega-6 component ng peanut. So that's the third. We have the carbohydrate, the net carbs, which is actually pwedeng passable. The uric acid effect sa ating katawan. Next would be the omega-6. Number four would be the phytoestrogens. So phytoestrogens are like plant na counterpart ng mga estrogen. So, for those na merong hypersensitivity to estrogen, especially sa mga babae na meron ng sobrang taas ng estrogen sa katawan, yung merong mga PCOS, and even sa mga lalaki, you should be careful because estrogen is a female hormone and normally hindi siya nakikita sa mga lalaki. It is a female hormone by its name. That's why kung parating kumakain ng nuts and other stuff na matataas sa phytoestrogen like other legumes, like mga beans, mga other soy products, hindi surprising na yung mga lalaking yon ay nagkakaroon ng gynecomastia. So parang paglaki ng boobs na in a way na kahit pa meron yung iba kahit macho pero parang may gynecomastia. So kung meron ng ganyan, try to look at your phytoestrogen intake. Baka naparami kayo ng kinakain ng pagkain na mataas sa phytoestrogens. So those are the things that you consider. But if ever naman you have no other estrogen na, like you're already on postmenopausal phase or about menopausal period na, there's no such thing as postmenopausal pala. Menopausal phase na medyo mababa na yung estrogen, maybe you can benefit from that. But generally, you should also consider the other na considerations when it comes to peanut intake. And the fifth consideration when it comes to adding peanut intake would be the presence of lectins. So the lectins are inflammatory. It can lead to leaky gut, yung pagkakaroon ng disruption sa ating gut lining. And when there is already disruption in our gut lining, yung mga dirts and mga waste product na nasa ating gut can be easily absorbed papasok sa loob ng ating katawan. Yung mga waste products na nasa ating intestines, supposedly, sa intestines lang sila at ilalabas lang natin. But if you have a leaky gut, pwede itong ma-absorb, pumasok sa mga microvilli. Ito yung mga little fingers na pwedeng dumaan yung mga waste product na papasok sa ating katawan. At kapag nakapasok nito sa ating katawan, this can lead into inflammation kasi nga marumi siya. So our body will attack it. And then kapag nakita niya na marumi, but it will recognize as part of our body kasi nga nanggaling sa atin, so it will attack its own self. And then eventually, magkakaroon ito ng confusion. Eventually, it will also be attacking the other parts of our body which are normal pero similarly looking. Let's say, for example, part of our brain, part of our heart, part of our kidney. That is how autoimmune disease can be formed. And peanut is high in lectins, especially if hindi masyadong luto. So those are the 5 things to consider. But in fairness, yung peanut can also be healthy. Mataas din ito sa fiber, and then meron din siyang kakaunting mga healthy oil na hindi lang puro omega-6, and then meron din siyang flavonoids, which is considered to be anti-inflammatory and also an antioxidant. Pero when it comes to the good side of peanuts and the not so good side of peanuts, mas lamang yung kailangan maging cautious tayo when eating peanuts, especially kung ang ating katawan ay already in inflammatory state, yung meron tayong health issues. Because most likely, the moment you have health issues, kapag merong problema pa sa iyong katawan, then our threshold, yung ating tolerance to toxins is also very low. And kung i-compare mo, for example, sa isang very young, healthy, na walang kahit anong health issues, they will not have any reaction when eating like 100 grams of peanut. Pero para sa isang tao na meron ng ongoing na inflammation, na sakit, just maybe dalawang kutsara lang ng peanut, baka magkaroon na sila ng pangangati, pananakit ng tuhod. They're already very sensitive. So you have to weigh in the risk and benefits. And of course, for the benefits, it's the happiness from eating peanuts, di ba? Yung may tinapapaka. I understand that very well kasi mahilig din ako sa peanuts. But since I learned more about peanuts and about leaky gut and the plant na antitoxins and phytotoxins and this anti-nutrients na tawag natin, eventually I was able to say no to peanuts more. And I eat, kung magka-crave man ako ng nuts, I eat more of the low-carb nuts with lesser phytotoxins, the real nuts, because peanut is not really a nut, but a legume, and hindi siya ganon ka-healthy. Katulad siya ng mga beans and others na maraming matataas na component when it comes to anti-nutrients because these seeds, no? Ito yung pinaka seed ng mga plants, and it's full of anti-nutrients to protect itself. Kasi yung idea why certain part ng plant is toxic because they don't have the capacity to defend themselves. Hindi sila nakakatakbo. So, sa ating ecosystem, they try to defend themselves by having phytotoxins. They release toxins in their body para hindi sila makain ng predators. And that is why if you are over consuming these food items na it can be toxic, especially na kumakain ka ng junk foods, kumakain ka ng other inflammatory foods, kasabay ng mga toxins na ito. Because the inflammatory foods, the fast foods, the seed oils, kapag ito ay kinakain mo, it will damage your system, it can produce leaky gut, magkakaroon ng butas-butas yung inyong intestines, and then the moment you take in these supposedly pwedeng neutral na mga and natural na food items, their phytotoxins, their anti-nutrients can act as added insult to injury, kumbaga. So, peanuts, if you want, you can take it, but only when you are 100% or you are so sure na metabolically healthy na kayo, wala nang inflammation sa inyong katawan, and if ever hindi talaga mapigilan because you love it so much, try to consider the other nuts, at kapag kumain din kayo, huwag lang sobra-sobra. A handful of peanuts, maybe twice a week, just to cure that craving is already good enough. But these are the reasons why yung peanut ay nasa caution list natin. Hindi naman talaga danger list unless you already have health issues na kailangan, or even if you are allergic to peanuts, health issues, then of course you try to avoid it. But for those naman na wala pa naman, like more on for prevention lang, you can consider this one, but take it with caution. On my personal note, noon, even if I'm already in low carb, nagkakaroon pa rin ako ng some degree of reaction whenever I eat nuts. But since I healed my leaky gut, I experienced reversal when we did DCR protocol. That's the dry fasting, clean fasting, and refeeding protocol. You can search on that hashtag DCR protocol. Ginawa namin yan kasama ng mga kapatid ko. And I think we are going to do that again next week. Hindi pala next week kasi hindi ako makakasali. So next time we will do that again. Ever since I did that one, 2 full cycles of the DCR protocol, I experienced reversal of leaky gut, and since noon, mas nakaka-tolerate na ako ng peanuts. But I am still not abusing it. From time to time, iniiwasan ko pa rin siya whenever I can, and I only take it very occasionally. Like this month, hindi ako nakakain ng peanut, but nakakain ako ng low-carb peanut butter from LCF Essentials PH na pure nuts cooked in coconut oil and erythritol and stevia. No other sweeteners and just salt. So, yun yung ating low-carb peanut butter na natikman ko just once this month. So, yun pa lang yung peanut intake. So, I try to avoid it when I can. And if ever I consume it, I limit the amount, and I also limit the frequency. And after that, I listen to my body. I try to take note kung meron itong epekto sa aking katawan so that I'll know. every time you eat something, you try to listen to your body and try to remember kung ano reaksyon ng katawan mo. Huwag kayong ma-stuck sa sarap lang or sa pleasure lang of eating it, but try to think kung ano talaga yung nararamdaman mo, yung effect nito sa katawan. Because if you feel bad after that, or if you feel sick after that, kailangan mas maalala mo yan so that the next time na nandyan na naman siya sa harap mo, and if you feel tempted, try to recall what it made you feel after consumption. Because if you will remember that one, mas madaling mag-say no to it eventually. And if you don't remember it, like say for example, pagkakain mo, yung pleasure lang yung iniisip mo, you will always go back to that vicious cycle of eating foods that are not good for you, but still, after a while, if you feel bad or na-stress ka, yun yung naman ang hahanapin mo, knowing that after eating, you will feel even worse before that one. So, yun. So, yun na muna. Merong question dito about alcohol content. I think we can tackle that in another video. I would like to say thank you sa nag-comment sa ating Facebook video about peanuts, and I hope this helped you. If not, I hope hindi ito naka-cause ng more confusion on you when it comes to peanuts. But those are the 5 components ng peanuts that you should consider before you say na gusto mo siyang igawing part ng iyong everyday low carb and fasting lifestyle. So maraming salamat everyone. If you wish to know more sa ating low carb and fasting lifestyle, the sustainable way, and the other things to consider, especially sa meron ng mga sakit like fatty liver, kung meron na kayong mga ininom na gamot, or GERD and hypertension and diabetes, you are most welcome to join our Facebook Low Carb and Fasting Masterclass by yours truly. Just message our admins po and we will get back to you. So, maraming salamat. I'll see you in our next video. Remember to always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. Bye!